For the last few months, we have been witnessing a balloon war between North Korea and South Korea. We know that there are constant tensions between these two countries. Because of this, the Korean Peninsula is considered a very geopolitically sensitive area. Since May 2024, a balloon war has been taking place between these two countries. When we hear balloon war, it might seem as if some explosives were dropped from the balloons. But that is not the case. There were no explosive materials in these balloons. Instead, promotional material was sent from one side and garbage was sent from the other side in these balloons. Yes, waste material. North Korea sent thousands of balloons filled with human waste to South Korean territory. So far, tons of waste material have been sent from North Korea to South Korea in more than 3,500 balloons. Now you must be wondering, why would someone do such a disgusting thing? I mean, filling balloons with human waste and sending them to another's territory. Look, North Korea is infamous for many notorious activities such as drug trafficking, cyber attacks, making fake currency, nuclear proliferation, and human rights abuses. Now, garbage bombing has also been added to this list. North Korea says that it did this in retaliation. Retaliation for what? Actually, for many years, South Korean activists have been sending propaganda material to North Korea. They distribute such information through paper sheets and pen drives, which can prove to be very dangerous for North Korea's supreme leader Kim Jong-un. How? Look, North Korea is not a democracy. There, the Kim regime tightly controls information to maintain its rule. There is a severe crackdown on dissenting voices because the credibility of the regime rests on its propaganda. Any information that contradicts the official propaganda can prove to be very harmful to Kim Jong-un's authority. So when South Korean activists send such leaflets through balloons to North Korea, telling people that there is economic prosperity in South Korea and poverty in their country, and that they enjoy freedoms and human rights in South Korea, while these things do not exist in North Korea, the North Korean people get to know the reality of the outside world. If they learn about the better living conditions and prosperity of South Korea, they'll start questioning the legitimacy and effectiveness of the Kim regime. Their loyalty to the Kim regime will diminish. Social unrest and organized resistance movements will rise in the country, posing a direct threat to the Kim regime. The Kim regime runs its own propaganda to maintain its control over the country, in which North Korea is depicted as a superior nation and Kim Jong-un's personality cult is promoted. The stability of the regime depends on propaganda, which is why the Kim regime invests heavily in it. South Korean propaganda directly challenges the Kim regime's narrative, exposing the realities of North Korea. Since the establishment of the country in 1948, the Kim dynasty has ruled North Korea. From 1948 to 1994, Kim Jong-un's grandfather, Kim Il-sung, ruled North Korea. After him, from 1994 to 2011, Kim Jong-un's father, Kim Jong-il, ruled North Korea. And since 2011, Kim Jong-un has been the supreme leader of North Korea. So for the last 76 years, the Kim family has maintained strict control over North Korea by using all its might. Now if the public becomes more aware, they'll start demanding change. That is why the Kim regime wants to maintain its information monopoly in the country, as it is essential for its survival. This is how it maintains its grip on the public. Thus, South Korea's propaganda warfare is fatal for Kim Jong-un because it can influence the citizens and soldiers of North Korea. Due to this fear, North Korea is sending garbage balloons to South Korea, hoping that South Korea will stop sending propaganda material out of frustration. In a way, this is North Korea's psychological warfare. By sending waste material, South Korean citizens are being insulted and humiliated, cities are being polluted, and fears of environmental and health threats are being created. North Korea's garbage bombing is definitely having a psychological impact. Panic, anxiety, and fear can be seen among South Koreans. It is also having an economic impact. Waste management and disposal are putting a financial strain on South Korea. You might be surprised to know, but due to North Korea's garbage balloons, property worth almost 16 lakh rupees has been damaged in South Korea so far. Additionally, many passenger flights have been disrupted, as when balloons enter the airspace, there is an increased risk of mid-air collisions, which could damage planes. So pilots have to deviate from their flight paths to avoid the balloons. And at times, the airspace has to be temporarily closed or restricted. This impacts flight schedules and causes delays. Anticipating these problems, Moon Jae-in, who was the president of South Korea from 2017 to 2022, banned sending propaganda leaflets through balloons to North Korea during his tenure. He didn't want to provoke North Korea and sought to reduce tensions on the Korean peninsula. However, later, in the name of freedom of expression, propaganda materials started being sent from South Korea to North Korea again. Now, in response to this, North Korea is dumping its garbage in South Korea. North Korea is a very secretive country. The media here is tightly controlled by the state, and no information about what happens in the country comes out. When a few people manage to escape from North Korea, then some information comes into the public domain. If you search about North Korean defectors, you'll find many interesting stories. In addition to first-hand accounts of defectors, we also get information about the North Korean regime from satellite imagery and the covert operations of intelligence agencies. Efforts are also made to develop an understanding of North Korea through various studies. For example, the North Korean trash that comes to South Korea via air and water routes is analyzed, and efforts are made to guess what is going on in North Korea. So now when human waste was sent from North Korea in balloons, South Korean analysts predicted that the production of chemical fertilizers must have increased in North Korea, because many reports have shown that human and animal waste was being used as manure in the farming sector in North Korea. Yes, you heard it right. People were encouraged to collect human and animal waste and submit it to the authorities. So now, if North Korea is continuously sending tons of waste material to South Korea, it seems there is no chronic shortage of chemical fertilizers in the country. We know that food, fertilizers, and energy are major export items of Russia. And you might know that recently Vladimir Putin visited North Korea. During the visit, both countries signed a defense pact and agreed to expand cooperation in sectors like agriculture, fisheries, and mining. So if you connect the dots, it seems that North Korea must be getting fertilizers from Russia in addition to increasing domestic production. This availability of chemical fertilizers is allowing North Korea to save human and animal waste to send to South Korea. Through such studies, we try to develop knowledge about the North Korean regime. North Korea is not in a position to counter South Korean propaganda with its own, because what can it say to the South Koreans? The wealth gap between the two countries makes it clear that South Korea is far ahead of North Korea. Clearly, the living conditions of people are better there. So North Korea's propaganda will not work here. That is why the Kim regime is resorting to bioterrorism by sending human waste in balloons. Just a few days ago, a trash balloon fell into the presidential compound in Seoul, the capital of South Korea. Although the presidential compound is a no-fly zone, the military did not shoot it down. Otherwise, the waste material would have been scattered everywhere. If tensions continue to escalate like this, a major conflict could break out here in the future. It seems like with every passing day, this world is becoming a more dangerous place to live in.